Hello, esteemed learners. Welcome back to Module 4. Um, I know it's been a tough summer, but once again, I want to reiterate that you all have the ability to get through this course. So let's just move into Habit 4 and finish up these slides. Think win-win. Again, the see, do, get model. See, do, get. Courage and consideration is in the center of this framework. What do we see? We see that there is plenty for everyone. It's possible to win in a way that others win too. No one has to lose. Do balance courage with consideration. Be happy for the successes of others. Share credit and recognition. Make deposits in other people's emotional bank accounts. What do we get? More wins, faster, better solutions to problems, richer, more lasting relationships. Now, I want to go back here to see. No one has to lose. Okay. And so, what the author is trying to explain to the audience is that in the case of being in the workplace, in the case of pursuing your goals, in the case of establishing these habits so that you can reach degree completion, no one has to lose. However, if you look at something like sports, right, in that sort of situation in a game, such as football, either one team wins or one team loses, right? But this particular model is not in reference to that. It's specifically focusing on the habits to obtain so that you can be successful in life, right? Because your success is not going to prevent someone else from being successful. It's the ultimate objective, right? That is the main point here. So I don't really want you all to get confused about no one has to lose, right? Because you think of sports and you say, really? Well, and there are situations where people lose. Well, not in the midst of achieving your success, okay? Moving along. Courage and consideration matrix. Okay. Courage and consideration, looking at this framework, high and low. Okay. Courage. Win, lose, lose, lose. Win, win, or no deal, lose, win. Okay. This is just setting up the differences between the win, 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 lose, 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 win, so that you can look at it from a high and low standpoint. Okay, so what's low, low? Okay, your courage is low and your consideration is low when you're in the lose, lose area. Okay, courage is high here, makes sense. I mean, excuse me, consideration is high here because there's a win factor, and then the courage is low because someone lost, right? So on and so forth. Okay, so on and so forth. Moving along. Here's a Chinese character to listen. Okay. I just Franklin Covey thought that it would be in your best interest or an increase in knowledge if you just knew about this specific character, because we speak about listening and seeking to understand and gaining the active listening skill, right? And just to share this with you, cute character from Chinese character and what it means. Okay. And this portion of it means eyes. This section of the Chinese character means heart. And this means ears. Okay. And together, it means to listen. That was a really short slide. And we're going to move right into habit 5. The goal is to make these presentations brief so that you can take more time to read and focus on what's due for this week. Habit 5, seek first to understand and to be understood. One of the most difficult habits I think that exists. If I want to be authentic and I want to be frank, I still struggle with that. But knowing Covey's content and understanding his perspective allows me to build on this area of habit 5. And it allows me to be more conscious when I'm in conversation with someone in a professional setting and or in a personal setting. It really does assist. So as long as you begin to open up your mind to habit 5 and you begin to understand the differences in this chapter and what it has to offer, you can begin to implement it while in college and beyond. So again, see, do, get model. What is the center? Empathy and clarity, right? Because I think it is important to possess some sort of empathy in order to understand someone or seek to understand someone, okay? Which is very different from sympathy, right? What is the difference, okay? Sympathy is being able to feel what the person is expressing to you. Empathy is having the ability to try to imagine yourself in that person's shoes so that you can understand, although we're incapable of putting ourselves in another's shoes. But when you practice empathy, that's what goes on within in the mind. You say, okay, let me try to understand it from this person perspectives to help with understanding and being understood. So what do we see here? We're listening first. Listening first allows you to understand the problem. My own opinion is important too and worth sharing. What do? We avoid poor listening habits. Practice empathy by listening for content and feeling. Present ideas from other people's point of view as well as our own. Give and receive helpful feedback. And what do we get? Better relationships with others, solutions to tough problems, mutual understanding. Okay. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." Okay. So actions speak louder than words is the point that Ralph is trying to make. And we've heard this before, right? We've heard this plenty of times before. However, it is one of those cliches that most people struggle with in life. Negative and positive energy. Negative synergy. Positive synergy. Okay? So the negative synergy, right? We're always looking at the negative. We hostile. We become defensive. We compromise. But when we have this positive synergy, 1 plus 1, yes, we know it equals 2, but when you positive, you become optimistic. Maybe it equals 3, 10, 100 or more. I'm open to what is being brought to me either during that specific engagement in the classroom and or at work, in the workplace. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Moving along. And these slides, again, they're very short and straight to the point. They're pointing out the areas within the chapter that you should pay attention to. Habit 6, synergize. See, do, get model. Okay, what's within diversity and collaboration? C, together is better. Differences create opportunities. We can create a higher way that is better than your way or my way. What do? Value differences. Build complementary teams. Go for the third alternative. Remove barriers to synergy. What do we get? New and better ideas. Less to do on your own. Better relationships and greater learning. For sure. Diversity does open up that area in which people are closed to because they only want to see it from their view. They only think that it's their way or the highway. And a lot of times it prevents growth and it prevents one from being able to work collaboratively with others in their work setting and or in the classroom. Getting to the third alternative, okay? Number 1, you define the problem. What is the problem? Okay? Listen to other views. Share your views. Brainstorm. Choose the best idea. Steps to a third alternative. Just because we chose the best idea doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement and that there may just be another alternative to assist with the issue or the concern that we have. Okay. Seeking the third alternative, you're knee or your job. Over the weekend, you injured your knee, and your doctor says you need 3 months of physical therapy, 1 hour a week. The therapist can see you only during business hours. Each day, you go straight to your noon to 5 job right after school, and you need the job to pay for school. You approach your boss about flexible hours, but she says employees in this department must work noon to 5 to ensure our customer needs are met. Getting to a third alternative. Requirements. Win-win thinking. Empathetic listening. Talking. Stick. Synergy. Issues to choose from. The environment versus industry. Low income versus high income. Big government versus small government. Public schools versus private schools. War versus diplomacy. Any others that you can think of? Okay. Now, I want to go back to this slide because this is a particular activity that we would have done together in a classroom setting. So it's not that I just read it to you, but what I want you to do is to sit back and think about a third alternative. That's why there's a question mark there. Okay? So you can sit back at home while you're working and think about that third alternative. What other options do we have here? All right. What other options could the manager give about flexible hours? Or is the leadership, because the word boss, I stray away from. No one wants to be bossed around. I like to use the term leadership. Leadership. Leadership stands for getting in the trenches along with your subordinates and or employees, and in my case with my students. Okay, I'm in the trenches as well. And so what would a leader do? Should the leader be flexible? Think about different alternatives in this case scenario. If you was a manager or if you was a leader. Here's some stats for you. Okay. Sleep deprivation soars among college students. Researchers link effect of computer screens to lack of sleep. 70% receive less than the recommended 8 hours of sleep. 68% have trouble falling asleep due to academic or emotional stress. 35% stay up until 3 a.m. at least once a week. And 60% plus of college students have disturbed sleep-wake patterns and take drugs and alcohol regularly to help them do one or the other. Women in the first year of college spend almost 12 hours a day texting, networking on social media sites, watching videos, disturbing sleep. Okay? This is disturbing information. Okay? And so being that the information is so disturbing, what I would like for you all to do is to look at these and think about, am I a part of this 70, 68, 35, 60%? And if so, how can I use the 7 habits to assist me with becoming an outlier outside of that statistic? Okay? Sleep deprivation soars, and it's true. Trust me, I know I understand because I have been there myself. But I do realize now, even as a professor and a student myself, that sleep is necessary. So make sure you're getting the proper sleep. Okay, here's some more stats for you. College students get a failing grade on their eating habits. Most students don't gain the much ballyhooed freshman 15, but college men gain an average of 5.5 pounds their freshman year, and college women gain an average of 4.5 pounds. 66% of freshmen don't consume the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. 50% of all students don't get enough fiber, 25 grams a day, and 60% eat too much artery clogging saturated fats. Consider this as you move along as a full-time student. Here's some more stats for you. College kids who blew off exercise put health at risk. 61% of students do not exercise 3 times a week. 29% do not exercise at all. And 35% of American undergraduate students are overweight versus 8% of European students. Keep this in mind as you move along as a full-time student. That is the end of the slides for this week. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me. I am available to you. I am a resource for you, and I support you.